Yeah, even if it's just like once a day or like once a week, everybody can benefit by eating more plants, especially the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I am already hungry because our next guest is the host of Global Bites with Eddy Garza. He's a chef, an author, and more. Give it up for Eddy Garza.
Yes!
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
The reason why we're energized is because guess what I had for lunch?
What's that?
A plant-based meal. I didn't have any meat.
I mean,
Nice.
It was called the Goddess Green Salad or something from, I forgot what place. They're not a sponsor,
Sweet
so
Greens.
maybe, yeah, okay, fine, Sweet Greens. Sponsor of Sweet Greens, so throwing you shout-outs. But I always feel good, you know, when I don't eat meat. Sometimes I feel maybe when I work out, like you need the protein. What made you become a plant-chef? Were you always a vegan?
No, so it's really interesting. I commend you for your choice for lunch because that really is the trend. Everybody's moving to eating more plant-based foods, and that's kind of how I got started, by being vegan. It was little by little. I added more fruits and vegetables to my diet, and then eventually I started feeling just better about my choices, not just for health, but also for the environment, which is one of the reasons a lot of people are actually going plant-based these days. But then after about 5 years, I went from eating more plants to eating all plants. And then that's how it started.
But were you already a chef at the time?
No. I went to school for music. I was a musician. I was a classical musician. And I just fell in love with this lifestyle so much that I said, you know what? I think I'm done with, the music thing, and I want to go to the other thing, the next chapter of my life, which was to go cook,
Okay, because the thing about vegan food, and I've dated vegans in California, so I've gotten I've gotten good vegan
They're
cooking.
out and about.
The thing about like a
Public.
vegan meal for someone that's used to like meat is you really gotta work it, right? Because like a lot of times just like the raw stuff, like a raw carrot and raw kale, it's not the most like delicious thing in the world, but you gotta dress it up. You gotta really learn how to saute things and add certain oils and spices and stuff like that, right? And then sometimes you taste vegan meals that are like, this is amazing, right? Yeah. So what are the kind of things that you feel that you need to do to make a tasty vegan meal that your non-vegan friends would be happy with?
So my trick is always going to my grandma's tricks, which was using flavors to build. So if you think about a piece of chicken and you boil it, what does it taste like? Nothing.
You're right.
So you got to add flavor to everything that you're cooking. So that's the reason I like to always go to my mom's and my grandma's playbook, which is pull out all the spices, you give all the flavor you want to whatever medium you want. So if it's tofu, if it's tempeh, if it's seitan, or if it's just mushrooms, they can all have amazing flavor.
Did you say Satan?
It's seitan, but yes, some people say Satan. In fact, the restaurant that I started cooking in Texas, in Dallas.
What is seitan?
Yeah, what is that?
Seitan is essentially a wheat meat. It's made out of the protein that's pulled out of wheat berries, and it is super high in protein. So that has the texture of meat, and then you flavor that with something smoky and something umami. That's just absolutely delicious.
I interrupted you. You were saying something about some restaurant that you shouted out in Texas.
Yeah, so the shout out to Spiral Diner in Dallas. That's where I got my start, and I love that place. But what's really fascinating is that there's amazing vegan food all over the country. I was just in my hometown in South Texas, and there's a restaurant that I said, wow, this lives up to its reputation as being like one of the best vegan restaurants in the country. In McAllen, Texas. So it's all over. It's not just LA, even though there are great places here too.
There are Crossroads.
Crossroads is great.
Yeah.
You should try El Cocinero up in Van Nuys.
Gracias Madre.
Gracias Madre is another
so
one.
Here's the thing. Now that I've been exposed to really good vegan cooking, I understand. I just feel intimidated, like at home, like, oh my God, I gotta go through all this stuff to like make it, taste really good. Or I just throw some meat in the oven with some spices and just have something simple. But I gotta make the commitment. I gotta do it.
Yeah, even if it's just like once a day or like once a week, everybody can benefit by eating more plants, especially the planet.
Oh yeah.
So you've eaten meat, you've not eaten meat. I have to ask you, what's the situation with the flatulation? Because a lot of
and we talk about these things here.
Yeah, a lot of people rip ass when they become a vegan. Have you noticed that?
So, gosh, it's been so long. I've been a vegan for like 19 years now that, what is that like? I know that your body's going to adapt to anything that you do. So if you're maybe not used to eating so many legumes or beans, I mean, come on, right? But at the same time, if you start eating these things regularly, and a lot of Latinos already eat these things naturally. So, maybe you will rip some. It's no big deal. It's natural.
Well, listen, I get bloated off of anything. So you have 2 cookbooks.
do.
Where can people find these cookbooks, and like what do you focus on?
Yeah, so my first cookbook was a book that was dedicated to my grandmother. It's called Salud Vegan Mexican Cookbook.
Oh,
and
love
it's
that.
got 150 recipes that are all recipes that I learned from her from childhood that I veganized. And then my second book is called The 30-Day Vegan Meal Plan for Beginners. And it literally is like 30 days of what to buy, how to combine it in a 30-day meal plan. And it's really fun because I actually worked with a dietitian on this, so you get all the nutritionals, the protein amounts, all the good carbs and all that stuff. But
It's a good introduction. Yeah.
it is, and it's also just got a really nice mix of things because I love Mexican food because that's my background, but at the same time, I love Eggs Benedict, I love bacon, I love all those things that you're gonna find a way to make them vegan with that cookbook.
Okay,
So
so I want to talk
interesting.
about something controversial in the plant-based community, but I want to wait until, no, we'll do it in this block. So the Impossible Burgers and the Beyond Burgers, right? When they first came out, I like them, and I still enjoy them. I think they taste good and stuff like that, but people are concerned with some of the, I guess, a lot of the extra sodium, a lot of the extra just stuff that they put in there, preservatives, things like that. What do you still think that it's still a healthier alternative? Are there other burger or meat-like stuff on the horizon that maybe are a little less processed than those brands?
Yeah, so the question about sodium comes in a lot, and I always have to remind people that you don't just cook a piece of meat without adding sodium yourself.
right.
So if we think about like what a McDonald's burger is going to have, it's going to have about the same amount of sodium, probably more,
Right.
but still, and we also think about the preservatives to keep things fresh, what is going to be in the meat, the same types of preservatives. So that's the reason that people are eating these types of burgers like, once or twice a week isn't probably a big deal, but I personally just like to make my own stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's still processed, and you're not just a vegan. You believe in as little processed foods as possible, right?
I just really believe in building my own flavors, and
Yeah.
that's really one of the reasons that I like to make my own stuff, because I don't want it to already have another flavor that
Yeah.
was not something of my
And
invention.
they season that a lot, like the stuff it comes already seasoned, which I think is probably adds to like some of the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I go ahead.
Go, you go.
No, I was gonna talk about one of the best vegan burgers I've ever had was just like a bean patty.
love black
And
bean
it was just
burgers.
falling apart. Actually, we gotta go to commercial, but it was just like falling apart beans, and it didn't really taste exactly like a meat burger, but that's fine. But it tasted good in between the buns.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back, right, Chef Eddy Garza here on the Zoo.
All right, Zooples, we are back, still here with our top chef of the day, Eddy Garza, all things plant-based. I did have, because I love that, I need to check your cookbooks out because I'm trying to, include more vegetables in my diet, and I feel like cooking a protein is easy. You fry it, saute it, whatever, just add it. But what really has like the nutrients and the flavor is gonna be what's, to the side of the protein. But on a lazy day, what would be like a good breakfast option, vegan breakfast option that someone can try
Oh, wow.
or that you eat
On a lazy
on
day?
a lazy day?
So it's funny, I still have those Sunday morning cravings for molletes. The Mexican open-faced sandwich that's just got beans on it,
Okay.
some
Yeah, I love
vegan
that.
cheese,
Yeah.
some pico de gallo. It's just still just like the taste of Sunday, with some cafecito. So good. But that's a very easy one to do. Another thing that I like to make is tofu scramble. So it's just literally chopping up a container of tofu, mixing it with some different spices, and then just scrambling it up. And it's just super easy, high protein, absolutely delicious.
Oh wow, okay.
I love that
Yeah.
you have a cookbook based on your grandmother's recipes. I'm sure that's something that you have those memories cooking with her, and now they're gonna live on forever. I mean, did your grandma teach you to cook at a very young age?
Yeah, actually, I like to say that I learned to cook while I was learning to talk, because I used to spend all my time in my grandmother's kitchen. My parents were both working parents. My mom's a nurse. My father was a mechanic at the time, and they just worked so many hours, and I would spend my mornings with my grandmother sitting up on her counter while she was making something, and I was just so interested in everything. So I remember wrapping tamales with her when I was just a child. And the first time that I actually made my own breakfast for my mom, she was sick in bed, I made her some French crepes that I had seen on television. So I've always been
That was
just
your
really
first meal that you cooked?
Can you believe that? I mean, it wasn't the first meal that I cooked, but it was the first meal that I had made on my own without my
Right.
grandmother's help.
The first meal that I ever made was bologna sandwich. 2 slices of bread, bologna in the middle, and I think some cheese. You've
Was it
also,
good?
Go ahead.
Was it good? Your bologna
At the
sandwich?
time.
It was successful.
I don't really, yeah, I
Successful
don't
attempt.
really eat bologna sandwiches anymore. So funny. So you're also been a personal chef, or you are a personal chef for celebrities. So I gotta ask, you know, are they finicky? Is it like a difficult thing? You know.
You know, I find that everybody has their own flavor, you know, the flavors that they're looking for. So what I try to do whenever I'm working with a celebrity is I try to figure out, like, what are the things that you already like? Usually it starts with a tasting. Like, I go take a sampling of things. Like, do you want Mexican? Do you want something American? What do you want? And then we kind of figure out what to do for a tasting. And then from then, we decide, like, how to move forward in developing these recipes for them. So I haven't found a lot of finicky people. I find a lot of hungry people.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I'm from Texas, so I make some very big Texas-sized meals, and I think that's what keeps a lot of them happy.
And how does that work? I know you were saying during the commercial break, we asked you if you live in with the celebrities, which I'm sure would be a nightmare, because they'd be like, I'm stoned at 4 a.m. Could you make me funnel cake? You know, do you make the food for the week? Is it for the, you know, how do you prepare? How does that work?
So there are different ways that you can work things out. Like, sometimes it would be going and doing meal prep. So you start by going and doing 1 day of cooking for 7 days, and then you have reheating instructions for them. Sometimes it's just like a one-off thing, like you're cooking for an event, a birthday party or something like that. And I'm flexible, except I don't want to live in with anybody. I was always a bad roommate, and right now I got a husband who has to deal with me at home, but you know, that's probably all I can do right
How
now.
could you be a bad roommate if you're making crepes at 2?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right.
I think for me, it's like I need some me time, and
Yeah.
I want to have my me time when I want my me time. So that's it.
Okay, here's my question, because I feel like we're in this Instagram, you know, obviously thing where everybody
Yeah.
wants the food to look good. I mean, how important is food styling to the celebrity clients, would you say?
Art.
Well, for me, food styling is important because I do know that people eat with their eyes first. So before you even take a bite into something, you're looking at it and trying to decipher if this is something you're going to like. Oftentimes, you see some big bowl of just like a mess that just doesn't look very good, and it might taste delicious, but that person may never find out it's delicious if it doesn't look good. So for me, presentation is super important, especially when you're trying to get people to eat maybe healthier meals. Like, how do I make this look delicious so that my kid might want to eat something, you know? Or just kids are like that too.
Yeah.
I got a very picky nephew. And that's, so it's very important to me.
We have to wrap up, but you mentioned the show that you're on, the show that you're hosting. What's it called?
It's called Global Bites with Eddy Garza, and it's on Jungo Plus. You can stream all the episodes right now, and it literally is Global Bites. I take you on a culinary adventure to different parts of the world, just like kind of armchair travel.
You have a great vibe. Do you mind just taking us with you?
Come on, come on.
Like, I mean, like right now. Like wherever you're going, we'll go, like here, they'll go in the back seat, I'll ride in front.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. It's viernes y el cuerpo lo sabe.
Ay, perfecto. All right, remember to follow us at LATV Network, and where can they follow you?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm the Eddy Garza, and let's cook together.
Awesome, and keep it locked here. Till next time, peace.
Peace.